Good evening, everyone. We are live at last. I'm really, really sorry. There was a bit of an administrative error. I'm going to call it an administrative error. A lot of people were on an hour ago. That was completely my fault. The other way, Richard. We drive on the right here in Spain. Yeah. So welcome back, everyone. Good evening. It's a beautiful Tuesday evening, and we have a brilliant panel this evening. We've got one of my favourite regulars, Richard Inman, obviously down the bottom, and at the top there we have Rogue and Richie Taylor from Advanced UK Wales. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for joining me. We are live at last. Good evening, Richie, first of all.
Good evening, Paul. Great to be back with you again. Looking forward to the show tonight. So much to get through, so much been happening. Excited what's happening here in Wales with Advanced UK, growing every single day, and people getting excited about the future and getting behind Ben for 10.
I've got to tell you, that sultry Welsh accent is starting to get me, mate. I'm really getting attached to that accent, you know. A year ago, yeah. I'd have needed a translator.
But the only thing with my accent, you I'm
the translator.
Yeah, because you can do Welsh as well, can't you?
A little.
You do Swansea, because the Swansea, yeah?
Well, when I used to live in Swansea, I used to end up saying it like this, I did.
Okay, get the subtitles on, guys. Get the subtitles.
We do sign language instead.
Rogue, good evening. Guys, first of all, I mean, everyone knows Richard. We'll come to you in just a second. Richard, last but not least, of course, for anyone that hasn't seen either Richie or Rogue on my channel before, just give yourselves a quick introduction for everyone watching.
Well, I am Richie Taylor and co-host of Saints and Sinners with the wonderful Rogue, and I'm the leader for Advanced UK here in Wales, and excited about all that Ben has set out, the party that he launched just 5 months ago. I believe it is an integral part of, real change that we need to see in this country, and it's only going to come through a principled party that is serious about what it's set out to do. It's the only democratic party currently out there that exists. Where we are, from top to bottom, grassroots. We're a big family of people who believe in our country, our history, and our culture, and whose foundations are built upon those great Christian principles and our constitution that our parliament was built upon. We believe in sovereignty, freedom of speech, equality under the law, and of course that wonderful word, democracy.
What a beautiful word. So I've known Richie for 31 years, and we decided to do the Land of Saints and Sinners. We wanted to do something political and spiritual and combine the two of them to just have an impact on whoever we talk to. And that is so important because at the moment there is a spiritual awakening, and I am really into that kind of foundational spiritual Christ consciousness, and it is just so important that we carry that. So we wanted to do the Saints and Sinners, and then Ben for 10 started to just drum into our hearts, and it's like, let's go. So we're now with Advanced Wales.
Brilliant, absolutely fantastic. We've got 1,000 people already watching. Good evening, everyone, and the crowd will only get bigger as we go on. Richard, how are you, my brother? Are you okay?
I'm good. I'm really good. Yeah, there's a lot going on in my life at the minute, but it's all good news. So yeah, everything's good, Paul.
That's good. That's good. I know you've got something quite exciting, but are you going to wait and spill the beans on that one, or what are you going to do? You want to do it on your own show?
I think I'll wait on that one, Paul. Okay. Yeah, I think I'll wait.
Richard's got a little Christmas present that he's going to open up for us sometime.
Well, maybe I'll tell you what, we might do that one on Christmas Day. Yeah, we might do that on Christmas Day.
That would be lovely. That would be a lovely Christmas story. Right, loads to get through. With a bit of luck, Howard Cox may be joining us later on in the show. He's on his way back from Westminster. Howard is the man that's got... I don't know what you call it. I don't know what he takes, Howard, but I'll tell you what, whatever it is, I need some of it, because whenever I see a picture of Howard, he's here, there, he's everywhere, right? I'm sure there's 5 of him. And I think he's got body doubles everywhere. They're in
Westminster. Mate,
oh, unbelievable. But I'm hoping that Howard can get on later on. He's been on the Fairfield, the magnificent Fairfield job again today. But I tell you what, I want to start tonight's show by handing over to Rogue, because she's got a few bits and pieces that she wants to discuss tonight. And I think we'll go through them one by one. Where do you want to start?
Let's talk about cancel culture, shall we? And let's talk about how the other side, should we say, we're not left or right, it's about the opposing sides. It's like we have different values, different feelings around certain things. How Advance UK has been cancelled for certain events that wanting to take place, and then the left, as we say, who have literally bamboozled, completely revolted against us wanting to start to move forward. How is this democratic? You know, we are from a cancel culture now, but that's not how it should be. You know, we should all be allowed and entitled to have that democracy.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, I couldn't agree more. I mean, we've obviously had the incident at over the last few days where the meeting down in Wales was all of a sudden, you know, came to a halt. Richie, fill us in about that one, because there'll be plenty of people watching that are not up to speed. If I'm honest, myself included, totally, because I've had a majorly busy weekend with other things, personal stuff. But what exactly went on?
So yesterday, Ben Habib made a press release, or released a press release, I should say, regarding the whole event. Now, what happened was we had done a live on our podcast, and someone was watching our podcast actually and took images of us, doctored some of the clips, put us in Nazi suits, in military uniform, German military uniform, and posted it to the Facebook page and everything else. Now, don't forget, we booked a venue for our official launch in Chepstow, and the location was confidential because we have to keep things secret, unfortunately, because it's crazy to think in 2025, in a democratic Western society, we can't release the information of a venue we're meeting in, not because we fear the opposite side or fear those on the left side of the argument, but simply protecting our members and staff that might be, you know, at the venue or anything else. And what happened was there was a combination of things. So Welsh media and the Welsh nationalists called Nation Cymru, a journalist in particular called Emily Price and Martin Shipton, who belong to this publication, which is funded by the Welsh government, by the way, but they're very much in bed with Plaid Cymru. They went online and started posting some articles about our connection to one of our members, who happens to be Tommy Robinson. And soon as his name is mentioned in anything that we do, straight away, immediately, the press here in Wales jump on it and say we're a far-right extreme party. And we know that doesn't wash with us anymore, but unfortunately here in Wales with the public, they listen to that, they see it, and they think we're racist and fascist, which we're very much the opposite. So to see that image of both of us dressed as Nazis and as, you know, in German military uniform was absolutely disgusting. It was, you know, we've got family. What about future employment, for example, the impact that it would have on us? Because you said the same to me, didn't you?
I mean, like it was called Far Right Advanced UK Wales. They literally created a Facebook page and they were jumping on every other Facebook pages that they could, and they were posting doctored videos. So they were taking exactly the same as Trump and Panorama. So they were doctoring it, and they were creating this kind of storyline of absolute nonsense because it just sounded so bad. And ultimately, you know, it reflects on us. But AI is so clever. AI and how you can doctor things nowadays is actually really dangerous, especially when we're trying to do something good, we're trying to do something right, and we're trying to uphold what we believe in, you know, and it's actually condensing, you know, and reducing everything that we're standing for.
And I think the thing as well, Paul, to say, and Richard, I mean, Rogue, you're new to politics in the sense that, you know, you didn't get involved in it, but you got involved because you've seen the state of the country, where it was going, and you feared for your children and your grandchildren. So you stepped into the political world, and you've been shocked at how much hatred there is from these people on the left. You were surprised. You told me, I didn't realize that people would hate you so much for having a political view.
It's bizarre. You stand there and you think, right, okay, I'm jumping in. I want to do something. I've been politically homeless for a long, long time. You know, I've had an interest in it, and I've just stayed away because I didn't believe anybody. And when Ben came along, I had faith. And that was for me that kind of point of jumping in and supporting, and not just standing on the sideline and just being a member, but what can I do to help? Which is why I'm now in Wales, you know, sort of pushing forward in the Wales arm. Yeah, but to then start to receive Facebook pages, people actually putting you in Nazi suits, it's just like, that is actually shocking. It's just dirty tactics, and it's not okay.
Yeah, I mean, Richard, when you analyse that horrible image, I mean, I'll put it up on screen. I don't really want to do this, but I spoke to the guys before the show started. I mean, just look at that. That is absolutely vile. That is the work of an absolute dangerous cretin. And I mean, I don't know, Richard, is that illegal, Richard, to do something like that? Certainly you're putting people's lives in danger.
I mean, I think, you know, what you need, it's defamation, isn't it? I mean, it's an interesting one because obviously this technology is so new. Is there any legal remit to cover that? Is it defaming someone faking an image? It could be criminal under the Malicious Communications Act, I would imagine, because it's grossly offensive. It causes fear, alarm, and distress. It could also be harassment because it can affect career prospects. Now, having said that, the unfortunate thing is because of the world we live in, there's certain career paths will be totally closed to us anyway because of the built-in bias of the establishment. So that's maybe a difficult one, but I think it's definitely malicious communications, and it's definitely causes fear, alarm, and distress, and that's what people are getting the doors kicked in over Facebook posts that are a lot more tame than that. Now, in a normal world where people are normal, everyone will go, that's obviously a fake. Nobody cares about it. It's not a big deal, right? But we're not living in a normal world. I think what we've got to understand, and this is really important. I know people say, oh, it's not about left and right. Actually, it is. The left, the communists, the Marxists, this is where Nick Tenconi's right. The Marxists are just as dangerous as the Islamists and the fascists. They're all cut from the same cloth. They're all totalitarian. They're all driven by poisonous ideology. They all literally hate their political adversaries. And you know that I've always said since I started doing this, we've got 3 or 4 enemies, and the 3 enemies are the Islamists, the globalists, and the communists. And you could add the fascists onto that, but the fascists are irrelevant because there's so few of them. So I think we've got to take these things seriously. I think what's worrying as well is the ability to try and cancel Advance UK. Now, the truth of this is the reason that Advance are getting hit is because Tommy has closely aligned himself with Advance, right? Now, once you're in that pool, whether you like it or not. I am absolutely delighted to be in that pool because I'll stand with Tommy until kingdom come, literally, because I believe absolutely in his ideology. I know his ideology, my ideology. There's not a racist bone in his body. And I think, you know, we've got to, this is a fight until the death, really it is. And politically, again, if you're watching this and you're sitting on the fence, you're going, oh, politics, not really interested in Advance, it's just another party. I think what we've got to realise is Advance politically is the only hope for our nation. Obviously, I'd agree with Richie and Vogue on the fact that Christ is the ultimate hope for our nation. The politics is downstream of culture, and culture is downstream of religion. But when it comes to a political party, there is nothing out there like Advance. And again, I know all you guys. I know people in, you know, I'm not going to go into what the mechanics of Advance are, but I trust everybody that I've met that's in leadership in Advance, from the very top. So, you know, and Ben is honestly one of the most gracious, available political leaders I've ever come across, and that speaks volumes to me. So, if you're watching this tonight and you're thinking we're sick of cancel culture, we're sick of decent people. I mean, Richie and Rogue are decent, even though someone called Rogue, you wouldn't think they're decent, but it's what's in the name.
She is a bit of a rogue, I'll tell you now. She's a bit of a rogue. She's a bit of a rogue.
Streak in my hair. It's supposed to be like the X-Men Rogue.
Aren't we all? You know, we've all got that streak in us, you know. But the truth is that we can, if we get this right, we can save the country. And I was saying before we came on air, we're not playing this for a game. We're not playing this to lose. We're playing this to win the general election in 2029. And that might sound crazy. We're not even fully registered with the Electoral Commission yet. But I'm going to tell you, I believe that we can do something that is way beyond what Trump did, way beyond Brexit, way beyond what Boris did, way beyond what Farage seems to be doing. I believe we can have a political miracle in 2020. And that's what I'm playing for.
I'll tell you one thing that I would slightly deviate from a little bit, Richard. When you say that, you know, it's down to Tommy, I also think Rogue and Richie at the top there, I'll address you two on this one. One of the reasons that they are targeting Advance so much so quickly is because they see the success that we are gaining. They see the support that we are garnering. They see what a fantastic leader and in Ben that we have. But more importantly, I think a lot of people are watching how this party is being built. I've described it before as a skyscraper, and to build a skyscraper, you have to have really good, solid, firm foundations, and that is what everyone has been building in the background, including the writing of some of the best policy that I've ever seen in my life. So I put it to you, Richie and Rogue there, these people are scared. They're frightened.
Yeah, absolutely, Paul. And I think, what we're aware of, we know the mechanics and the ballast of the party is held together with some great people with great experience, great knowledge, and couple that together with people who've got some political experience, not all, because we want people to represent the whole of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland. And I think one of the things that we are passionate about, and certainly Ben is we believe that we are right at the moment on the precipice of our country going beyond all repair. This is our last chance to save the nation. And right now, I feel a heavy duty on me as an individual, not as a leader, but as a person for future generations. We've got to get this right. And there is no other political lever by which we can do it other than politics, as Richard mentioned there earlier. Yes, we can have the spiritual, we can have, Christianity and all that, the center of what we do as a moral compass and a guidance for all that we say. However, we've got to use the democratic levers given to us, and that happens to be at the ballot box. So our job right now is to win the hearts and minds of people around the country who've never engaged with politics because it doesn't affect them. But I would say to you, if you're watching this, if you pay a mortgage, if you drive a car, if you pay for gas and electric, politics affects you. You'll find out tomorrow in the budget. So you have to engage with it. You have to. Your children, your education, the NHS, it affects every part of your life. So please get involved. Please look at Advance UK as an alternative because we are different. All the others are the same cheeks of the same arse, right? That's all they are. They're the uni parties. They promise you the earth, but here's the issue. They will not deliver. What sets Ben Habib and Advance UK apart is that is a man that won't just say what he's going to do, but he will deliver it. And that is the difference, Paul.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree entirely. That, that's why we're all, that's why we are where we are. I think one of the things that has struck me in the last few months is, look, we know that suddenly starting to talk about religion on any podcast could be the kiss of death. The numbers suddenly start going boom like that, right? But I will say this. I've never been overly religious myself. I've always classed myself as C of E. I'm a Christian. I was baptized, etc. But religion has never really played a role in my life up until very recently when I've discovered myself that I am more of a Christian than I ever knew. I'm certainly a cultural Christian. I certainly believe in God. And I think that the country in general is starting to realise that without Christianity, which is the basis on everything that we hold dear in the United Kingdom, without our faith, we have nothing. It's gone. It's over. Richard, would you agree with that?
I would agree with that, and I want to big Richie up as well because Richie's one of the few people I think in the UK that's seen a measure of revival in his life in the past. I think that's fair to say. Years back, I remember. Don't worry, Richie, I wasn't stalking you. I've read about 30 books on revival, and we had an amazing revival in Northern Ireland in 2008 at an Elim Pentecostal church in Belfast. I think yours was a little bit. What happened with you guys was a little bit later on. But what we need is a spiritual awakening, that's going to eclipse any of that. That we were in the shallow pool really in those days compared to what I think is going to happen. And I think again, people. When I first started this in 2017. I buried my Christianity without trace and went, the people that I'm talking to will not listen to this. They'll not engage with me on this. And I think, was I right? Was I wrong? Probably was wrong, to be honest with you, to do that. But anyway, hindsight's a great thing. But I think now everybody's open to talking about Christianity. And I think that's a healthy thing, and whether you agree with it and believe in it or not, you've got to admit that when a nation is Christianized and is obeying God, if you like, that the nation's prospered and it's blessed. When it turns away from God, well, we end up with kids getting mutilated, assisted dying, and abortion up until birth, which is murder. So what we're living in now is really the judgment, and what we need is a revival to bring us back on track. So I think you're absolutely right, Paul. I think even people like yourself that are quite openly saying, I'm not religious, it's not, it's not my thing really, but you're more open to it now, Paul, than I think you've ever been in your life. Would that be fair to say?
Yeah, no, definitely. And I actually, do you know what I would like to do? We've got nearly 2,000 people watching now. I mean, what I'd like to ask everyone in the comments, have you suddenly, over the last whatever year, 6 months, 18 months, or whatever, have many of you out there suddenly rediscovered and realized the fact that this is a Christian country and Christianity is really important to us? Rogue, your views on that one?
Yeah, I was just going to say, like, when a religion or a faith is under threat from another ideology, I think that is what stirs up a kind of commitment to where we come from. And in that commitment to where we come from, it's the foundation, the Christ consciousness. It is something that lives within this nation, and it just needs awakening. It needs to be brought to life again, because we cannot live without the spiritual movement. It is so important, because we come from dust, we leave as dust. We need to ensure that we recognize that our foundation, like you were talking about earlier, the foundation of like even Advanced UK, you have to have the underpinning, you have to have everything. And it takes a long time to create that sort of big skyscraper that you speak of. But because the underpinning is the first part, then the foundation, this is what we have to do in this nation with Advanced UK and with our spiritual faith and the way that we go forward with that.
Yeah. What do we do, Richie? What do we do about this problem with cancel culture? I mean, how does Advanced UK Wales, for an example, how do we move forward down there with what's been going on? How do we battle this?
Well, I think there's a few ways we can do it, Paul. I think firstly, we have to encourage people to debate. In a democracy, having discussion and debate and disagreements is okay. That is how it should be. Unfortunately, that debate gets shut down because people don't have the answers to the argument that we're presenting to them. I'll give you an example. I've been called a racist. And when I've been called a racist, I would ask that person, show me evidence of where I've been a racist. They can never show me any evidence. And that's the starting point, isn't it? When you confront that in debate, they have no response. I think secondly, Paul, we have to use platforms like yours and other media outlets, not mainstream media, because they'll deplatform us at the drop of a hat. So we're using alternative media, which, by the way, is growing massively, not just here in the UK, but around the world. Even Trump recognizes independent journalism. He now has opened up the press White House to independent journalists like Joe Rogan and all those kind of guys, because he realizes the power and the strength is no longer with mainstream media. It is with us. Legacy media is dead. So there's two things. I think the third thing is to get involved in your community, not by making political statements, but do litter picking. I know it sounds really basic, right? But do things in the community. Do a five-a-side football. Just get involved in your community where you are and do something in the community. Christmas is coming. Book a community hall and feed the homeless. Feed the veterans. Put it out there. They will come. I can guarantee you, for a hot meal on Christmas Day. What a wonderful thing to do this Christmas. Get you and your family to cook a dinner for the homeless. And then you get talking to them about life, and then politics will come into it. It's a natural progression. These are some of the ways that I believe we can reach people with the message of what we believe we want to deliver. And that's hope for the nation. Giving people hope is so important. We live in a world full of despair.
Absolutely. I couldn't agree more. And someone just put in the chat there, so proud of our family, and we are all family. I mean, the way we are building something beautiful. And on that note about Christmas, Richard and I are giving up most of our Christmas Day. We're going to be live right here on this channel for everyone on Christmas Day. We're going to play some songs. We're going to play some old classics. We're going to have a laugh and a joke, and we're going to be there for everyone. They either is or isn't on their own, but everyone's welcome on Christmas Day.
The beard's going all right, Paul. The beard's coming on.
The beard is coming on. The
You know.
beard is coming on. It's the red outfit that I'm looking forward to, Richard. I was having a look around in Alicante today to see if I could find one that might fit. I've got a little tailor on the job.
Don't be buying one of those devil ones. I'm not going to wear one of those red devil ones. Don't be buying one of them. It's got to be a full-on Santa suit with the padding, because obviously with someone as slim as me, I'd need the padding for.
Absolutely. Gary, thank you very much, my friend. Really appreciate that. And you too, Lee, as well. Sydney says, I think a lot of people will move over to Advance with all that is going on with a certain Mr. Farage. Richard, what did you make of his performance over some questioning today? That I'll give you my opinion later. Let's hear yours first.
Paul, I haven't seen it, so I'm not going to comment on it. But the thing is, I know Farage of old. I know he's a slippery one. And the reality is, if he did say those things, I mean, we were talking before we came on air. We all said crazy stuff when we were kids. I went from being an anarchist punk rocker to probably being what people would class as far right, and then to a normal view of stuff in about, a year when I was a teenager. So, who didn't say stupid stuff when they were teenagers? I've said stupid stuff last week, let alone as a teenager. So, I mean, let's just get it right. You can't be, if you've said something and you regret saying it, you apologize. There's nothing wrong in apologizing. If you said something wrong, you're wrong. If you've said something and you will stand over it, then you stand over it. It's as simple as that. But, being evasive and denying stuff, if you probably did say it, it's a bit like Mike Graham, who's trying to steal my morning slot, by the way. But but yeah, I think it's noise. Farage will ride this out. He'll ride this out unless somebody has a recording of him, dressed in the Hitler outfit, and it really being him. You know what I mean? Instead of the fake stuff. So yeah, I think a lot of it's noise. But I don't think Farage will be there by the next election. I think he'll be gone, and it'll be Zia Youssef in the pie.
Richie Rogue, what did you make? Did you see that today with Mr.
I didn't know, but what I have seen is that he is in Wales at the moment, and he has been ousted. They cannot stand him either. Everybody is booing and protesting to get him out of Wales. So I think it's the same kind of welcome as probably we would have had. But irrespective, he's literally been sort of told to leave.
I think coming off the back of that, he has been in Wales, and that's partly why we believe that the attacks we had more recently online were from the left and from the right. So we're somewhere in the centre, which pivoted us in a good place, really. The comments that he made today in relation to accusations that he made comments when he was younger, racist comments. Now, I'm sure we've all said things we wish we'd never said. To be quite honest, I mean, I can't believe I'm going to say this. I'm almost defending Farage here. Things he said when he was a teenager in the playground, I mean, they're irrelevant. They completely are. But mainstream media are doing what they're good at, and it's this. They know that Reform are polling well at the moment. Okay, I'm going to come down in a second now. Polling well. So they're a threat, credible threat. We know that. You can't deny the polls. So what mainstream media do is they attack those of us who are on that side of the argument. Of course they do. So they want to make sure they paint him in a bad light. Nathan Gill, for example, the former leader of the Brexit Party, been done 10.5 years in prison for taking Russian bribes and everything else. And connecting to Farage, denying he ever knew him. He did know him. I stood on a stage with Farage and Nathan Gill in a smaller place called Little Mill at a conference we spoke after the Brexit Party. So he did know him. That's just by the way. But secondly to that is, Farage, while he's got the momentum now, Paul, many of us know this because we know the operator, the political chameleon that he is. It's only a matter of time before it all implodes. We're seeing it at council level right now, where local elections were won very successfully by them, but they're imploding. You've got youngsters running councils, £2 million budgets. They don't even know what the OBR is. They think it's a computer game. They ain't got a clue about politics or life or business. And so this will happen. He can win campaigns, he can win elections, but he cannot govern. And the people around him cannot govern. They're not fit for the office of one of the highest offices in the country, really, to serve in the cabinet as Prime Minister's country. When you look at Ben Habib, we're talking about a different caliber of person. Completely different in so many ways. And as Richard mentioned earlier, he's such a gentle voice as well, but yet with it, there comes this strength. As he said, we're not foxes, we're lions and roaring into 2029. And he has surrounded himself, Paul, you mentioned at the start of the show, he has surrounded himself with people, not yes people, but people who have got the mind and the ability and the sharpness and the intelligence that should they come into power, and we're in the cabinet, they will be able to lead the country. And I'd have confidence in the economy. We've got the budget tomorrow with Rachel from accounts. She's screwed the country up. £50 billion black hole since she took over. I mean, the woman is an absolute nightmare. Lego head, I like to call her. But that's just my a bit more personal. I can't talk. I've got a Steve Coogan haircut going on. But look, you know, that's the reality. And I think it's about leadership, Rogue. And we've talked about Ben's leadership, how different it is from Farage's, haven't we?
I think, you know, from somebody that has never, again, been hugely involved, to have somebody like text me and be completely personable and actually talk to me and discuss things and find a solution, you know, I just find him absolutely incredible. He is like family. He's like, you know, a gentle Papa Bear. You know, he's just beautiful. But the beautiful thing is, if I'm coming in and I actually love that, you know, you're going to get a lot of new people who will follow suit, because actually when you have somebody that's in person or personable, you will then feel safe. And do you know what? We all, A, need to feel that we belong somewhere, and B, we need to feel safe. And I think at the moment where everything is at, none of us feel safe politically, you know, economically. We just feel completely in despair. And actually Ben Habib is going to bring hope. And that is the crucial key to moving us forward into a visionary forward.
Well said. The Two Mark Show says, Paul, where do I get advanced leaflets from to hand out? If you go onto the website, let me pop that up again there. Run it across the bottom of the screen, www.advanceduk.uk. You can join there, you can get leaflets there, you can do all the bits and pieces that you want.
There's a shop. There's a shop that you can click on straight onto the shop.
The only Calmac, Richie, please save us from the threat of Welsh independence. Do Plaid know what they are getting themselves in for?
Mm-hmm. Well, you know, the Welsh nationalists here, right? Listen, I'm very patriotic. I love my country. I speak the language. I love the way we talk. I love it's almost lyrical. It's musical. We love singing. I mean, Wales is a beautiful, beautiful country, except for Welsh Labour. But no, Mark Drakeford, the former emperor on a Cardiff Bay. And if you look at Welsh independence, if we were going to be successful as an independent country, right, away from Westminster and devolution work, I would be the biggest advocate for it. I really would. But it doesn't work because we have nothing here anymore. Our industries have been depleted. We have tourism here. That's it. And service industries. We have nothing. There would be a £13.5 billion black hole in our economy if we were to be completely independent. And that's to run at our current state now with the services the way they are now. And they're awful now. NHS, education, public transport, you name it, infrastructure, it's shit. It's terrible. So devolution for us in Wales has been a disaster. To think that we could get more powers and become independent is a pipe dream, and it's a nightmare. Now, we have these groups, and they're very militant, very, very militant, called Yes Cymru. And they're all part of the same kind of plot with S4C, Nation Cymru, Wales Online. They banned me, by the way, Wales Online. I'm not allowed nowhere near them, apparently, because I'm far-right thug and all that crap. Anyway, and I'm far from a thug, right? I'm just right, and I'm not far wrong either. Anyway, just thought I said that earlier, not being far wrong. Yeah, sorry, we just talked about something earlier. And so with all the Welsh stuff, it's a very niche kind of thing here in Wales. And people outside of the M4 here, of Wales M4 that is, they don't get it. It's like the Westminster bubble. We've got our own bubble here. And we're here to burst that bubble, to open up the books and audit them and say to the people of Wales, this is what's going on. This is what devolution has done. This is what Welsh Labour have done. This is what Plaid are going to do with the nation of sanctuary that they've constantly promoted, with the DEI that they promote. They're going to take Wales further down a dark tunnel. That is why Advance UK right now in Wales is making huge strides into that political debate, because we're offering something completely different from Reform, completely different from all the other parties that currently exist that are out there. Here in Wales, we're offering something completely different. And it's narrow-minded to think that we can exist by ourselves without our brothers and sisters in Northern Ireland, Scotland, and England. Because we believe in the United Kingdom in all of its parts, you know, not just that part, this part. We are one united kingdom. I am Welsh. And I am British, okay? And I get called a flag shagger, an English lover. I don't care, because my grandfather, I should say, fought in the Second World War to give me the freedoms that I have today, to love my flag, to love my country, and my fellow Welshmen and my Brits across the bridge.
And
as well.
by the way, Richie, well said. What a speech. And by the way, your grandfather, bless his heart, he fought next to Englishmen, Irishmen and Scotsmen as well. And you're absolutely right. We are brothers and sisters. And I firmly, firmly believe that. I will say that in years gone by, I think Westminster has, in particular, they've neglected Northern Ireland and Wales. I mean,
no, I don't agree, Paul. I'll be honest. I don't agree.
No, Richard, one second, please. I was going to say, I'm not going to talk about Scotland this week because Scotland are qualified for the World Cup, so they can, they'll be happy enough this week. Go on, Richard, fire away.
No, I don't agree. I'll tell you why I don't agree, Paul. Look, I mean, at the end of the day, Northern Ireland, there was many, many soldiers from Scotland, England and Wales shed their blood on the streets of Northern Ireland, fighting against terrorism, fighting against the IRA, protecting innocent people from terrorists of all colours. Britain spent billions and billions of pounds in Northern Ireland, so I don't think that's a fair thing to say. And I think what that is, Paul, that's coming from the globe. See, what Tony Blair did, and he did it very successfully, when Tony Blair set up the local assemblies, that was to unshackle Wales, Scotland and Northern Ireland from the UK. I would abolish all the assemblies personally. I mean, again, I'm not making policy for Advance, so I'm not going to tell them what to do. And because I'm only a lowly member, I can have these rants and say what I want. But the assemblies are an absolute disaster because they're administered by very poor middle managers who are all progressives. If you look at the Northern Ireland Assembly, dominated by Sinn Féin, the SDP, the SDLP, the Alliance Party, the UUP, and even people in the DUP are getting very wet. So there's a very small rump of hardline DUP and TUV. Scotland's exactly the same. It's become a progressive hellhole with the DEI and all the rest of it, as has Wales, as has London under Amir Khan. So, I think we've got to get back to Westminster democracy, and I would just abolish a lot of them. And I would tell the nationalists and the Republicans in Northern Ireland that want a referendum, they can sling the hook. There's no appetite for it, because once you start having referendums on Irish unity, you have to do them once every 7 years. It's not acceptable. It's not going to happen. And we need to put these people that want to destroy the United Kingdom back in the box where they belong.
I'll leave Northern Ireland down to Ben in that case. And Emmanuel, there are plenty of Facebook pages making similar posts about politicians, i.e. Donald Trump. Absolutely. There certainly is. Let me just go back to this for 1 second. Thank you very much, Don Cameron. Love these discussions. Keep the stream smoking, boys and girls. Thank you very much. Very much appreciate that. A quick one on the budget tomorrow, Richard. What do you think, Rachel Thieves or Rachel from accounts or whatever you want to call her? What sort of pig's ear is she going to make of this tomorrow?
We just know it's going to be. It's just a question of what sort of pig's ear it's going to be. Is it going to be deep fried pig's ear, or a battered pig's ear? It's going to be horrendous. At least she's going to be doing something with pork, so it's not going to be a halal pig's ear. But I think it's going to be a shocker. But the Labour Party are becoming increasingly irrelevant. It's about what happens next, and that's where we're going to have to suffer a lot of pain for the next few years, because these people are communists. They are totalitarian. They want to silence us. They're going to try and tinker with democracy and wreck everything. And what I would implore everybody in the comments, what I think will happen is, because I think Farage's margin is going to get squeezed coming up to the election as Advance gets stronger and stronger. I think there'll be a call. People will be trying to bring some sort of proportional representation in. Don't think we'll get it by the next election. We've got to stand foursquare against PR, because the only parties, as we've seen from the assemblies, the only parties that benefit from proportional representation are progressive, in other words, regressive parties that want to destroy the United Kingdom. So I think, again, what the Labour Party do to me is irrelevant. They're not relevant anymore.
Yeah, do you know what, Rich? I used to be a bit of a supporter of PR, but now, no.
Look at Holland. Look what happened to Gert.
Yeah.
If Gert had been standing for election in the UK, he would have had a majority in the Parliament. If it had been a first past the post, he would have won the election in Holland. And he's been ousted because they just deliberately scuppered any chance he had of forming a government.
Gang
So,
up on him. Yeah.
We need a party that is so strong and so winsome and inviting to the British population that it wins a majority that will keep it in power for 10 or 20 years. That's what we need in 2029.
Yep. Guys, your thoughts on the budget tomorrow? Any idea what, any predictions?
Well, I think, to be honest, we know one thing: the price of things are going up, irrespective of what she says tomorrow. You know, we've got, since the Conservatives just as bad, mind, they raise taxes to extortionate levels. The Labour Party the same. The reality is, since lockdowns, we've not recovered. Our economy has struggled because we spent over £400 billion supporting lockdown measures that Rishi Sunak put into place. We're still paying the price for that. Our national debt is at an all-time high. The interest on that debt is absolutely astronomical, figures that most people watching this wouldn't even dream of. And we're servicing that debt. We've got increased prices when it comes to our food. The cost of food in shops. You do a local shop now, where you'd fill a trolley for £30-40, maybe 10, 15 years ago. You can't even fill a basket for that price here anymore.
Yeah.
The cost of fuel, in fairness, Howard Cox doing an amazing work, one of our college members for Advance UK, on freezing the fuel duty. Absolutely fantastic at a time where the transport industry and, of course, just regular people like you and I that use our vehicles to get to work, to our kids to school, you know, these are crucial things that we're already doing as a party because of Howard's commitment to that. I think what we're seeing, Paul, Richard, we're going to see an increase in taxes at every level, whether you're wealthy, whether you're middle class or you're working class. They're going to raise, they've already been doing it. Keir Starmer is a pathological liar. He said in July that we will not raise taxes. He has reversed on that, reneged on it, and that's what he's doing. While he has made the statement, inflation has come down, and the same token, the cost of living has gone up. So how has inflation coming down made an impact, a material impact in people's everyday lives? Check your gas bill, check your electric bill, check your petrol, and it hasn't. And you've seen this. So we talked the other day when we went we did a food shop, and I came with you, and you said you couldn't believe the price and stuff.
It's ridiculous, but it's also like minimum wage has gone up by 50p.
That's what
I mean, how on earth is that relative? Like, there is no relativity in what we're doing and going up, and actually how they're sort of incrementing our like monies for minimum wage. Nothing makes sense.
I'm glad you mentioned Howard there, because there he is pictured outside Downing Street yesterday, where he's presented another, I think, 130,000 signatures. Unfortunately, this time it looks like there will be some sort of increase. But look, you know, I'm going to pop Howard's website down there at the bottom of the screen, fairfueluk.com. Please dip over there and sign up with Howard's website. You can also sign the petition over there. It's already gone off now, but you can still sign it for the future. Great work by Howard. As I say, I'm even hoping we might be able to get the man on himself later on, but we'll see. But I don't think it's going to be good news tomorrow.
Can I just mention something there? It was Rachel Reeves and Wes Streeting today in Parliament talked about sugar tax. And, you know, we're going to increase the price of your milkshakes. I mean, what does it come to, right? When the country, to save its economy, when you have the Chancellor of the Exchequer saying, don't worry, I've got the economy sorted, I'm going to raise the price of your milkshakes. Does she live in the real world? I mean, is she mad? Leave our milkshakes alone.
Can I make a suggestion, boys and girls? I'll tell you how we could save a few quid. You know what I'm going to say. Shall I even bother? But I'll tell you what, I can think of one or two ways of saving a few quid. Send the buggers back, right? Stop taking them in and send the buggers back, because what we're spending in a month on people that shouldn't be here would sort out a lot of our problems.
Absolutely.
I think when we really get into the weeds of this, you know, when we get power and we get control of the civil service and we see the corruption that's going on. I don't know if anyone saw the Alison Pearson interview with Winston Marshall. If you haven't, watch it, because it's a massive eye-opener. She's talking about the corruption in the passport office, the giving people leave to remain and so on and so forth. And basically what Alison Pearson said, they're kind of given, it seems like they're kind of given targets. Rush as many through as you possibly can. And they make it very difficult for them to not accept these people. And she believes there's hundreds of thousands of people in our country who are criminals, sex offenders and terrorists. And that's Alison Pearson, who's a very level-headed journalist.
Yeah.
And not well, of course, I'm sure she's considered far right now, but she's not. And so I think when we realise the true horror of what's happened to our country, it's going to take a martial effort to turn that round and to clean up the mess. But again, I think that knowing the people that are working on that immigration policy in advance, I'm sure there's going to be some very good news coming out on that very soon.
I'll tell you what I do think, and funny enough, you should bring that up, Richard. There's a lot of people that have been facilitating, aiding and abetting a lot of things that have been going on in this country over the last few years, and I'm discussing those tomorrow in a video I'm releasing early in the morning, and that is the title there. That's what I think should happen to these people. And, there's a lot of people got a lot to answer for. Let's have a little look at a couple of polls that I've run this week, just to gauge the confidence that the people have. Rachel from accounts that 30,000 votes in 9 hours. Will Rachel from accounts make a total mess of the budget? Yes, she's clueless. 99%.
Who is the
1%
1%?
said
The
no,
1%,
she'll get
yeah.
it right.
That was Rachel.
Yeah.
30, that was,
Or it was Diane Abbott.
Oh Lord.
she clicked the wrong one.
Diane Abacus.
The other one this week was, do you believe Shabana Mahmood's latest asylum seeker rhetoric? Yes, she's trying her best. Give her time. 3%. No, I wouldn't trust her to look after me goldfish. 92%. And those aren't sure yet are 5%. That was 60,000 votes. 92% said they wouldn't trust Shabana Mahmood to take care of their goldfish. Not exactly.
No, it's not much confidence, is there really?
No.
No, not much of a vote of confidence there.
No.
We were talking about this, the cost of foreign nationals in our country just this week when we
There was 600 million pounds a year for foreign nationals in prisons. I mean, it's just a phenomenal amount. This is why the economy is what you're saying is crumbling. We're just absolutely at breaking point. And then I think it's 6 million a day just for the hotels. It's
come on, look, she's got it covered. The price of milk is going up.
She has.
I just like to say, Paul, on your poll you get 30,000. We get 35 people on our poll, so you're doing something right. I don't know what we're doing on our podcast. But we need up our game, love. We really do. I mean, we really do. But yeah, I mean, look. It costs, as Rogue was mentioning, it costs £50,000 a year to keep one prisoner, foreign national, in our prisons. We have 15,000 currently in our prisons. They talk about the prisons being overcrowded. The answer is simple. Ship them back to the country from whence they came. It's as simple as that. It has to be that political will.
100%. Richard, have you put something up on the screen there?
Yeah, I mean, it's maybe not for this chat, but I've been doing a bit of research into the Muslim Brotherhood. Obviously, Trump is... I think he's actually, if he hasn't banned them, he's thinking about prescribing them as a terrorist organization. And there was a report into the Muslim Brotherhood done in 2014 by the ex-ambassador to Saudi Arabia. And this is a little infographic that I did up. I had it on my channel this morning. And I think what we've got to realize in the UK, the Muslim Brotherhood is one arm of a very, I call them the tentacles of terror. It's one arm of a sort of octopus of Islamism that's operating in the UK. And it's absolutely terrifying that a lot of these people, it's a secret society, so nobody knows who's in the Muslim Brotherhood. Mm-hmm. And it's believed a lot of people in very prominent positions in the civil service, particularly in the Home Office, are Muslim Brotherhood operatives. They're in all different areas of life. They're in law, they're in policing. And this is something that needs to be dealt with in our country. Because, people, we're always told, okay, it's not all Muslims. Absolutely. We get that. We're not disputing that. But having clandestine organizations in like the Muslim Brotherhood, Jamaat-e Islami and others, being able to still operate freely in the UK and infiltrate political parties. They're in all the political parties. They're in all the corridors of power. And that's taken a long time to achieve for these groups. And that's the hard work, because we need to identify who these people are, and we need to get them out, and we need to get them out of positions of power, and we need a witch hunt. we actually do need a witch hunt to get rid of these people. It's the same with the Fabian Society. I think the Fabian Society is another one that needs to be looked at, and people who are Fabians need to be barred from holding any political office. And I think Muslim Brotherhood, Jamaati Islami, other organisations need to be looked at, need to be massively scrutinised by the next government, whatever shade it is. And I don't see Zia Yusuf really getting too excited about clipping the wings of the Muslim Brotherhood. Do you?
Paul, you might talk.
I don't think it's going to be top of his list. Richie, do you want to give your channel a quick shout out so that everyone can nip over there and hopefully drop you a sub?
That's very kind of you, Paul. Yeah, we're on the Land of Saints and Sinners. In fact, we're live tomorrow night at 8 p.m. We got a great show lined up talking about Trump, the Muslim Brotherhood, and of course, we believe that there's sleeper cells in this country. A lot more to expose as well. We're also discussing puberty blockers, Rogue, aren't we?
Indeed.
Yeah, tomorrow, and why we believe that's child abuse for children under the age of 10. The government are saying that they can take that, and a lot more. We're live every Wednesday night and Sunday nights. We do a weekly roundup, and you can find us here on YouTube. Thanks for the plug, Paul. I really appreciate that.
Land of Saints and Sinners, yeah?
Yeah, it is indeed. Myself and Rogue, we've been doing it. And listen, we're great fun. We have guests on. We have a bit of humor, right? It's not all politics, right? So we have a lot of different things going on. We talk about all kinds of things. We like to touch on conspiracy theories now and again.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Yeah. So we get into all kinds of things, but we have fun. We have a lovely audience, and some of it we noticed on your show tonight. So thank you for coming on to Paul's show. Please support him as well. But we really appreciate the plug. Thank you, Paul. But yeah, every Wednesday night, 8 p.m. and Sunday nights, 8 p.m. as well.
Sunday roundup.
I will definitely be there next time. Let me just grab this one. Steve, any idea when Tommy's Xmas Do is in London? I don't, mate, at the moment.
I
to be honest with you know, you've been in, maybe I've got a blank, Richard.
Yeah, 13th of December, mate. It's only been officially announced. In fact, actually, it hasn't been officially announced. So I've just officially announced this.
You've just announced it.
I just realised. I just recorded the promo video, and because I recorded the promo video, I thought, oh, well, it must have gone out, and then I realised, no, the promo video hasn't gone out because you've only recorded it half an hour ago, you numpty. So anyway, it is the 13th of December. It's going to be in central London. Get that, be there. It's going to be great fun. It's going to be a Christmas party. It's going to be putting Christ back into Christmas. It's going to be old Christmas songs from the 70s, Christmas carols, testimonies.
Oh, I've kicked him out by mistake.
Oh, sorry, Richard. You've been kicked out, mate.
Richard, come back.
Have you just deported him? Is that what you've done?
That is how quickly. If I'm Home Secretary, that is how quick I will get.
Brilliant, absolutely brilliant.
Well, that's going to be my poll. Who should we have as Home Secretary? Paul?
Yeah, we should have Paul as Home Secretary. I think so. He'd be great as Home Secretary, wouldn't he?
Absolutely.
Okay, so he's reapplied for his visa.
Oh, he's back in. There we go. Oh, brilliant.
That was Urban Scoop. They were doing something sneaky in the background to stop me announcing that it's the 13th of December in London. Be there or don't be there.
Oh dear. Yeah, you was evicted then, Rich. You've gone, mate.
I was kicked out of the Big Brother house.
I'll tell you what I do want to discuss quickly tonight, because we got 7 minutes to go, because I know Richie and Rogue have got other things to do later this evening. I've got an early start tomorrow, I believe. I just want to let me just get rid of this comment so that I can see it. I just want your views on this today. We'll start with you, Richard. Jury trials to be scrapped except for murder, rape and manslaughter cases, as David Lemmy tries to tackle court backlog with major justice overhaul.
Dreadful. Another attack on our freedoms. Absolutely dreadful. Absolutely dreadful. All this nonsense has to be overturned. We need a route. I tell you what, I'd be putting Lammy in prison without a jury trial, and Starmer and Rachel from accounts, and the whole stinking lot of them. I'd intern the whole lot of them, to be honest with you, because I think they are criminals. Treason.
But it's. I mean, I could never, ever imagine a United Kingdom. I'm getting a bit of feedback from someone there that since you've come back in, Rich, so it might be you.
Could be me.
I'd never ever imagined the United Kingdom with, trial without jury. Richie, Rogue?
Well, look, it's an attack on our civil liberties. You're judged by your peers. And to think that this is a massive red flag and a huge red flag, we need to be really concerned. This was not put out for any kind of feedback from the public. These things should be held to referendums, in my opinion, because they're huge constitutional changes that change the fabric of our justice system. And, we cannot have judges, because let's be quite frank, we've discussed this in our show. A lot of these judges are normally selected and left-wing Masonic judges as well at that, sometimes, Rogue, aren't they?
The Masonic, they are infiltrators within our jury and our justice system, because, I've had it before when I had to go. So I have advocated for women who have gone through either rape or abuse, and it's been a privilege to stand with them. But, it's such a he said, she said thing that actually a lot of the rape cases, because I know it said except the rape cases, they're actually, the hardest to actually, sort of give an imprisonment for. So it's just this really kind of bizarre, again, it's just so upside down. Everything is backwards as it stands right now. And we need to ensure that justice happens for everybody.
Yeah, so you've got David Lammy letting people out of prison, right?
Exactly.
Once they get rid of jurors, I mean, it's absolutely ridiculous. And I think on X today, a lot of people have been commenting on this, saying that it's a massive red flag. And who's come up with this idea? And it's based on efficiency. If the government are doing something based on efficiency, it's going to be a balls up, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, especially when this live. I mean,
I think the other thing is, this is going to sound really conspiratorial, but Tommy has never had a jury trial. And I wonder when this will come in. Will this come in just before Tommy's next trial?
Well, look, Richard, I just wouldn't put anything past these people, nothing whatsoever. And, to anyone out there that doubted some of the things that we've been telling people since before the last election, whatever happens, if you vote for Labour, this is what you're going to get. Some people laughed. Some people said, don't be ridiculous. Well, it's all coming true, unfortunately.
Yeah. It's worse. It's worse than we thought, Paul.
I don't think you'll get a jury, Richard.
No, they probably just shoot me on the spot, Paul.
I think the judge will have that black cap on before. I
think you're right, mate. I think you're right.
Yeah. Right, everyone, it's been an absolute fabulous show. I've really enjoyed it. Well over 2,000 people watching here on my channel alone, so there's going to be more on the other channels as well. So brilliant crowd. We unfortunately we all got things we've got to do early in the morning, so it's going to be a relatively short
Paul,
one.
I'm going to interrupt you.
Go on.
Before you go, right?
Yeah.
7 o'clock tomorrow morning. Richard Inman and on Counter Media and on Twitter. My channel, my morning show, not Mike Graham's, not the convert to far right racism, Mike Graham. My channel for some good wholesome breakfast, a good British breakfast with bacon, eggs, and black pudding.
The big white beardy breakfast, I'm calling it.
Perfect.
It's called the Big British Breakfast, Paul.
Do you know what, Richard? I might set up a rival channel called the Big Benidorm Breakfast.
Why don't you actually come on and bring the Big Benidorm Breakfast? Because where you are, it's going to be about 10 o'clock in the afternoon, isn't it?
Yeah, well, Rich, you know me. I'm like an old banger, mate. You have to pull the choke out in the morning, let it warm up.
What you get up to your personal time's up to you, Paul.
Richie Rogue, absolutely brilliant having you on this evening. And you, of course, as always, Richard. Richard, hang on for me at the end of the show. I just want to have a quick word with you before we go. And I hope to be back tomorrow with one of my you call-ins. So tomorrow, I hope at least, I've got one or two things to do, but I'm hoping to do a live stream tomorrow where you guys out there in the chat, in the comments, can jump on with me live. We'll talk about whatever you like. We're going to be looking forward to Christmas, but tomorrow, of course, we got the big day. Rachel from Accounts. It's her day. We'll all see how it unveils, and we'll see if we can find anyone that's happy after tomorrow. Right, guys, enjoy your rest of your week, and we will see you all soon. Let me just play the outro. God bless everyone. We'll see you soon.
Bye.